going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Convince the Panel, the series where I have a couple of guests on to debate one another on various movies and different topics, and then I have 2 other guests join me as judges. This is the 4th episode, and I've just been really enjoying it, and I've loved seeing everybody enjoy it in the comments. So if you're watching this live or after the fact, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to join us today. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get on the people who are going to be talking alongside me as the judges, the panelists that are going to be here with me, starting with the winner of the first episode, and that is a longtime friend. We've covered dozens of movies together on YouTube, both on my channel and on his channel, and that is Rashad of Rashad G Reviews. What's going on, my friend?
What's up, brother? Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here and not have the nerves of being a contestant. I could just chill now and just be a judge.
Right. Yeah, I figured, hey, listen, it'll be a lot more fun to just come on and get to be the judge this time.
Right.
And following that, the guy who actually ended up winning the second episode as well is here. We've covered stuff here on the channel as well. We've had him on Random Rambling. And of course, like I said, he was on the second episode. And that is Jeremy Perez of Yeti Films. How's it going, my friend?
Doing all right, doing well. Happy to be here. The nerves are not as bad, like Rashad said, so happy to be back.
Yeah. I love that both of you said that as I'm about to introduce both of our contestants whose nerves are probably a little bit higher in the situation. Starting up first in terms of the people who are going to be going head to head today is a guy who was earlier here on the channel earlier this year when we were talking about Cobra Kai. He also joined last year when I was covering a bunch of Marvel movies and joined on the episode where we talked about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And that is Jason, the old millennial. How's it going, my friend?
Going good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining, and thanks for being willing to go toe-to-toe with the next and last but not least guest, who was recently here on the channel for Random Rambling, my last guest on that show, and also joined last year when I was doing all those Marvel reviews for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and that is Sin of Sin's Corner. How's it going, Sin?
Hello. Talk about nerves. I was like last minute added, and I had to come up with stuff.
Yes, I really appreciate you hopping on. We had another guest initially, but there was a change in his schedule. So I had to go around and ask a couple of people. Sin was the first one to respond immediately, thankfully. And I was more than happy to have her on because Sin was already on my list of guests that I plan to have on the show at some point. Because, yes, both guests that we're having on here today are very passionate about their takes. They are not people that will allow other people's takes to kind of sway their opinions. I would say one thing I love about both Sin's Corner and Jason Neal Millennial is if you want a hot take, they're going to take that hot take and ride it sometimes. So very happy to have you guys on. So quickly for everybody watching at home, here's how this is going to work. We have 8 questions today. There's a tiebreaker in case that we need to do that, but 8 questions. First to 5 is the winner of the game. Each question will be broken up into 3 individual little pieces of argument. First 60 seconds, that's where our contestants are going to have the meatiest portion of their argument. Then they'll both get 30-second rebuttals to one another, and then they'll get 15 seconds to respond and kind of finalize their arguments. I will be keeping track of it on my phone via a timer to keep it fair. To also keep it fair as well, so that the same person doesn't start every time. We'll alternate between Sin and Jason as far as who starts the argument per each round so that the other person does get to have the advantage of hearing the other argument first. And similarly, so that the same people, in terms of the judges, don't have to always have the same person breaking a tie at the end. We will alternate which judge starts on each question to make sure that that's fair as well. And at the end of the day, this is all going to be in good fun. These are 4 fantastic guests that I'm very happy to have on the channel, and you guys can find the links to their channels down below. So definitely give them some love, and let's get into this. Definitely comment below if you're watching live who you thought won some of these arguments. I'm sure there'll be some agreements and disagreements alongside the judges. And does anybody have any questions before we get into this?
Let's get ready to rumble.
All right, there we go. Well, let's get started with the first question, and I think this is going to be a good one right off the gate. And it's, who is the most underrated actor or actress working today? Sin is going to be arguing for David Dastmalchian, who of course was in the big hit film last year, Late Night with the
Late Night with
Devil,
the
and has
Devil,
been in so many other films in general. Has done a lot of supporting roles, but is just a pretty top-notch actor in the modern day. And Jason is going to be arguing for Paul Dano, who of course most recently played, I believe the last movie he was in was as the Riddler in the Batman, but has been in a slew of fantastic films, fantastic actor. So Sin, we're going to start with you. 60 seconds whenever you want. I should also mention, you guys can take a moment to think on your arguments. The timer will start the second that you guys start speaking. If you start to flub your words, you start to stutter, you start to make mistakes, I'm going to keep the timer on. You don't get that time back. But if you need to take a moment and breathe and think your thoughts out, feel free to take that moment. So Sin, you're up first. 60 seconds for why David Dastmalchian is the most underrated actor working today. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, well, I took notes, y'all. I made notes. So, yeah. So I feel like he's the kind of actor that can sort of disappear into a role, but he's got a face that you just always remember. 2008, The Dark Knight, never forgot that face. And I feel like he makes these weird offbeat characters very compelling and interesting. They may have small parts, but they're pretty memorable. I think he stole the show in The Suicide Squad as the polka dot man. He is great in Murderbot as someone who kind of goes head to head with the character played by Alexander Skarsgård. I think that's his name. And he's just got this very unique, quirky style, very memorable, very interesting face, unusual face. And I just love the way he plays his parts. And I'm glad that he's getting a little bit more recognition, more and more. He's in the new Dexter show. He finally played a lead role in last year's Late Night with the Devil. That's my opening.
Sounds good. 60 seconds for Paul Dano whenever you're ready, Jason.
Yeah, I feel like Sin stole my arguments already for what I was going to say about Paul Dano. I think we both picked people that are somewhat has unusual roles and very quirky roles at times. Paul Dano, kind of same thing. I first saw him in Little Miss Sunshine as a teenager. He played kind of disturbed character that never talked until the end. And then after that, he just, every role just, man, gives that a great performance, including There'll Be Blood. Opposite of Daniel Day-Lewis, gives such a great performance. Crazy he didn't get nominated for an Oscar. And it's insane that he has not gotten an Oscar nomination so far. And every time I see him in a role, he does such a good job. And yeah, he plays these very, like I said, a lot of disturbing character that roles that, I don't know, makes him kind of stand out. And still hasn't got like recognition, I feel like, except for maybe Riddler.
Time. All right. 30 seconds, Sin, whenever you're ready.
Oh, I can just say anything.
So yeah, you can either continue your argument or zing any arguments that Jason has. This is your chance to kind of like have rebuttals, but also strengthen your argument.
Well, I can't because I agree with Jason about Paul Dano. So I don't think I'm going to be too combative in this one. I feel also that I think maybe I touched already on the range. He can play equal parts creepy and sympathetic in Late Night with the Devil. Sometimes he's a little creepy, you know, and creepy again in The Dark Knight. And then he's got this deadpan humor like what we saw in Ant-Man. And I feel like he never phones it in. Also, he's a nerd like all of us.
All right, time. That was perfect, right? 30 seconds on the dot. All right, 30 seconds, Jason, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'll just go off what I was, I guess, saying about playing these disturbing characters like Prisoners. Played this kind of strange character that maybe is a murderer. I mean, the Riddler is such a disturbing character and done so well and really makes that movie. To me, Batman doesn't work without him as the Riddler. It's such a good performance because of how disturbing he can be. And yeah, there's other roles I can probably go as well.
All right, time. Final 15 seconds for David Dastmalchian whenever you're ready.
Okay, I don't really have anything else to say about David Dastmalchian, but about Paul Dano, once the mask came off, he wasn't effective to me anymore in that role. That's about the only thing I can say in rebuttal.
All right. Final 15 seconds, Jason, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, Paul Dano, maybe a little more well-known than David Sin is talking about, and has done a little more well-known roles that people remember. That's the main thing I can say.
All right, time. All right, a solid first argument there. Rashad, you're up first in the judging seat now. Who are you casting your vote for?
Well, yeah, this is a good opening round. Just from experience, guys. You know, the later rounds, let the gloves come off and just tear each other to shreds. All right, let's go. But in the sake of this round, though, I think Sin did a better job just with the resume of Mr. David there, and you know why he's a. You know, she was just more descriptive of why he was a better actor. The roles that he plays, the roles that he chose, and so I just thought that her argument was a little bit more clear and more descriptive than Jason's was. So I'm gonna go with Sin on that one.
All right. Yeah, I'll follow that up by saying I'm casting my vote for Sin as well. I think Sin just captured it. And then Jason at the top of his argument said, well, my argument is pretty much similar to Sin's. So I think
Right.
that kind of like lost it for me a little bit on Jason this round. But both good arguments, but I'm giving it to Sin. So Sin wins the point. But of course, like always, Jeremy, I want to hear your thoughts on this round and who you were going to cast your vote for.
Yeah, I would have went Sin as well. Similar arguments for both. However, I do want to point out Jason brought up a good point, which I wish you would have went down a little bit more. The lack of like Oscar nominations for like Oscar, baity movies. I thought that was interesting. But then Sin just kind of brought up how like David just really does disappear. Meanwhile, Paul Dano, as soon as he took off that mask, you just kind of lost it. So both very good arguments, very similar. I love them both, but definitely would have went Sin on this.
All right. So Sin wins the first round, and yeah, I'll say what Rashad said again. Take the gloves off, start dinging each other's arguments.
Jason's too nice. I can't do that.
Oh, I know, but you're both very nice. All right, so moving on to the second one. This is an interesting one because nobody knows the answers except for me. But in honor of Superman, I asked our contestants, what is the best film based on a DC comic character? And Sin is going to be arguing for The Dark Knight, the second film in the Christopher Nolan trilogy, and Jason's going to be arguing for Batman Begins.
Oh, that's so funny. I almost was going to go with Batman Begins.
So you guys both chose movies from the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. So Jason, you're up first. 60 seconds whenever you're ready. Why is Batman Begins the best film based on a DC character?
Sorry, I'm having a hard time.
You all right?
I know my anxiety is going up really bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm struggling.
If you need to take a moment, no worries, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, this is all in good fun, by the way, man. All in good fun, like any other time we're on. No pressure. Like, win or lose, it's all in good fun.
You made a great pick, Jason.
I think this is going to be a fun one. Batman Begins versus.
I mean, it's cool. Like either way, they're both going to be Nolan films. That's being argued about. So, yeah, that's great.
Just think the check's in the mail, man. Just think a $10,000 check in the mail. Whether you win or lose. Shit, that's what I did last time.
I'm gonna use that for next time myself.
Well, I picked Batman Begins because to me it's the best origin story to a superhero film. I think it does such a good job of explaining why Batman is Batman by going through like how he trained as a ninja, and then why he's got this company that has a whole part that does military kind of development, and then uses all that to become Batman, and it's all for practical use and all makes sense of why Batman becomes such a great superhero.
All right. 60 seconds, Sin, whenever you're ready.
Yep, that's a good one. What he said is why I almost picked Batman Begins, but The Dark Knight, I feel like kind of just notches it up more. It's not just a great comic book movie. It's just a great movie in general. From the score, the cinematography, that opening scene with Joker and the bank heist and how that was filmed, just absolutely fantastic. Heath Ledger's performance as Joker, legendary, transformative. I mean, you didn't even know it was him. And it was epic in scale, but at the same time, it kept it grounded. That's why I like Batman so much, especially Nolan's Batman is so grounded in reality. And it kind of helped redefine what comic book films could be. So that's why I picked Dark Knight.
All right. Jason, 30 seconds whenever you're ready, my friend.
Yeah, so yeah.
You're good, man. Hey, are you gonna be okay? If you're not, it's okay, man. You know, life happens. No stress whatsoever.
Yeah. Trying to think what my counter argument would be, because I don't know. Because you picked the Dark Knight, right? Is that what you picked?
Yeah, she picked the
Yeah.
Dark Knight. Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's the obvious choice amongst the two, but I still love Batman Begins more. Even though Joker's a great, absolutely great villain, I don't know. He just was overly powerful at times. He was able to do everything at any time, and it just, I don't know, it didn't work for me in that part, and that's why I picked Batman Begins over Dark Knight. I think overall, for me, it was a better overall constructed story.
All right. Time. Good. Right at 30 seconds on the dot. Sin, 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I agree with you about great origin story, but I felt like the Dark Knight just kind of amped things up without going too overboard and too blockbustery, like what happens with a lot of sequels.
All right. Time. And you have a final 15 seconds, Jason, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, it's hard because you picked another Batman movie, so it's like, geez, can I use the argument that it's a great cast? Dark Knight has a great cast. Like, gosh, I don't know. I totally get why. Yeah, I mean, Dark Knight is. I mean, it's the obvious choice there, but I still like Batman Begins better.
All right. Time. Yeah, that was an interesting argument. Jason, I'll just say this too, man. If you start feeling a little bit too much in the anxiety tip, just let us know. No sweat, brother. I have anxiety. I've talked to Rashad, Jeremy about this before, so I know how it is. There'd be zero pressure, but I don't want you to feel uncomfortable at all in here. That's the last thing I want. So you just let me know, okay? As far as the arguments go, I'll start off this round. I think you both make good arguments because I think Sin made a really good argument there, especially near the end in regards to the Dark Knight not allowing itself to be a bloated sequel. But I think Jason did a really good job of, at least, especially in the first portion of his argument, talking about kind of just like that backstory, the ninja side of things, understanding the Wayne company, Wayne Tech, and all that stuff, and how he's all integrated and all that, and how it all sets that up. I think I'm going to give the slight edge to Sin, but either way, a solid argument. Jeremy, what do you think?
Both really good arguments. This was going to be an interesting round for me because I'm not the biggest fan of Dark Knight. I do like Batman Begins better. So hearing, Jason's argument of like you find out why Batman is who he is was really nice. Also, the jab of Joker being overly, kind of powerful in that I thought was an interesting avenue. Sim brought up a lot of great things with how iconic The Dark Knight is. Heath Ledger, that opening, great cinematography for both films because they're both Nolan movies. I'm going to go the sliders with Jason, though. I thought both were really good arguments. I just think certain points that Jason brought up are going to stick with me a little longer in the arguments, though.
All right. Rashad, that means you got to break the tie, my friend.
You know what? You know what you was doing. Put me on the spot.
Talk about pressure. You thought you wouldn't have nerves.
No pressure. Can't take the pressure. This is tough because I love both movies. I love Batman Begins. I love The Dark Knight. Yeah. But I am more of a fan of The Dark Knight. So, it was going to take a little bit more convincing to convince me that Batman Begins is better. And opening round, Jason had a good, good argument about it. Of course, being the origin story. And I don't know, but Sin kind of drove it home that it's really grounded. The whole Nolan trilogy is just a grounded series, in the Batman verse. So damn, if I had to pick, if you put a gun to my head, say Rashad, choose. Oh man, like I want to say it's a tie, but I think because I think Sin really drove the point home more, man. I'm gonna go with Sin on that round.
All right, so Sin wins that round, but it's still early in the game.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
We've seen the turnaround
Very tough.
happen. Yeah,
Because
it's a
those
tough
are
one.
my first thought was Batman Begins when I saw that question, and I almost picked it, but then I went with Dark Knight. But I love both of those movies. Absolutely, it is a fantastic origin story.
Right, and we're seeing some love for that in the comments. We got Mike from Did You See That popping in here saying, over the years, I've truly
Some
preferred
people do.
Batman Begins than Dark Knight. Yeah, very
Mike
good
don't
movie.
count. Mike don't count because Mike ain't seen shit. So don't count Mike.
He never watches anything. Yeah, he hadn't seen it.
He also said that he feels Batman Begins is truly incredible. The Dark Knight negative feels a little out of sequence of the trilogy because of Heath's death. Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. We also got to rest in peace to Heath Ledger, which of course is just like a rough part of that whole thing. And then also Batman Begins, I think, is underrated. So definitely a lot of people in the support of Jason's argument in there. But the game is still early. We've seen turnarounds. So the next question, this is the one that I had to change because they both had said the same thing about the sequel. They both were going to be Joker 2. I didn't let that was before the stream. But yeah, there was a question of what is the worst sequel ever, and both Jason and Sin both said Joker 2.
Wow.
So I had to change the question on that one. But the third one is actually, I'm sorry. I was looking at the fourth question, but
that was the fourth.
That is going to happen. But
okay.
Jason
I was a little confused. Yeah.
I that's just me not being able to read. Anyway, question number 3 is actually, what is the best animated film of the 2000s? Sin is arguing for The Emperor's New Groove, the 2D animated film, and Jason is arguing for Monsters, Inc. So 2 films from Disney, 1 from Pixar. 2 very iconic films for their time. Sin, you're going to start off this round, 60 seconds whenever you're ready for Emperor's New Groove.
So I'm not huge into animation, so this one was pretty difficult for me, and you limited it. So that's why I picked this one. The comedy and the voice acting. I work in the field of audiobooks. Voice acting is very important. David Spade, Patrick Warburton, Eartha Kitt. Oh my gosh, fantastic comedic timing. Some of the lines, the character arc of the main character, but some of the lines like, whoa, look at those wrinkles. What is holding this woman together? I just couldn't. This movie is hilarious to me. So that's why I had to pick that one.
All right, you got 25 seconds if you want it.
This is not a strong one for me. So anyway, I feel like it holds up better than more of the prestige animated films around. I feel like it's kind of underrated too.
All right, fair. All right, 60 seconds whenever you're ready, Jason, for Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, I picked Monsters, Inc. I love that movie so much. One of my favorite of the Pixar's. And I just love the premise is so good with what if there are monsters under your bed in the closet? And why are they there? Well, what if it's because they have to have screams to power their city? And they're not bad. They're not, they're not killing anybody. They're just doing their own thing. And I love that they're scared of the humans as well. It's one of those things where like they're more scared of you than they are them, even though they're big, scary monsters. It's such a great world building movie. And that's what I love about the movie.
All right, you got 20 seconds if you want it.
And just go further. I mean, the whole storyline is just so great with the human character coming to the monster world and them getting to know each other and realizing, hey, humans aren't that bad. We've just been sold this lie by the government. And I love that. It's just a cool idea overall.
Perfect. Yeah, you hit it on 60 seconds. Perfect there. All right, 30 seconds whenever you're ready, Sin.
Just some other things I liked about it is that it's pretty fast paced. The animation's a little quirky and crazy, highly rewatchable. It's subversive, it's self-aware, and I feel like it's almost, if not definitely ahead of its time when it came out.
All right, time. 30 seconds whenever you're ready for Monsters, Inc., Jason.
Yeah, and what really drives Monster Inc. is one of the best movies is the relationship between Sully and Boo. How at first they're like, oh my god, it's a human, and then he becomes very fatherly to the Boo, and then at the end, I don't know if we can spoil things, but at the end when he opens that door and he hears Boo, that makes me cry every time. It's such an emotional moment.
All right, Tom. Final 15 seconds in.
Oh gosh, I have nothing else to say about this one. Honestly, this is just not one of my most favorite categories.
All right.
Sorry.
Fair. Jason, final 15 seconds whenever you're ready.
I just go with John Goodman, great voice work, and Billy Crystal, one of the best characters. Was by Mike Wazowski. Their friendship is so funny, and it's a movie that has comedy, drama,
Time.
animation.
All right, that was a good one. That was a good argument right there. I really like that one a lot. Jeremy, you're up first this time around. Who you throwing your vote to?
Man, both really good arguments. Both made me want to watch the movies again. Just kind of made me nostalgic for it a little bit again. Really do like Emperor's New Groove. You brought up a lot of great points with voice acting at the start and everything. Listening to cast, all wonderful. The designs and everything. Jason brought up though, like thematically why it's good, the interesting premise at hand too, and also how it is about relationships. And just like any Pixar movie, it's emotional. It's really, really close. Like it's 51-49 for me. I'd probably go with Jason on this. Like it made me want to see Monsters Inc. a little more than Emperors, and with the arguments.
All right, Rashad, who are you throwing your point for?
First of all, I gotta say, Jeremy, do you do radio work?
No,
bro.
Just
You got like
YouTube.
a radio voice. Oh, man, I'm jealous of your voice, man. Like if I had a voice like yours, I'd probably getting all kind of dates, man. But I got this funky ass New York accent, so it kind of messes me up every time.
Thank you. Your voice is great too.
Your voice is fine, Rashad.
Hey, I think I got a nice. Okay, I got a nice voice. Thank you, Sim. Appreciate you. But yeah, I still got it. Okay, I see what you did there. Unbiased.
Oh no, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying. No, I swear I wasn't. I pay attention to the way. No, I promise. I pay attention to the way people sound. It's just my thing.
Okay. So yeah, well, Sin, it was against you this round because I never seen Emperor's New Groove. So you definitely need to work hard to convince me to watch it. And after listening to your points, no diss, I still don't want to watch it. So, and plus the fact that Jason admitted that he cried. Jason, we here, bro, because I'm a crier too, man. So I did see Monsters Inc. and it did get me too. So I got to lean towards Jason that round.
All right, so Jason wins the point. Yeah, I was going to give my point to Jason too. I feel like Sin conceded the argument at a certain point because she didn't know really what to add to it, and Jason just had things to keep saying about Monsters Inc. I mean, once he brought up like that relationship between Sully and Boo, and then specifically that final moment, every time I hear her call him Kitty at the end there, it gets me emotional. It makes me want to cry. And yeah, I totally agree. So Jason wins that point. So now it's 2 Sin, 1 Jason. We are still in the game, folks. It's anybody's game. And now moving on to the question. Oh, by the way, I should also mention, we had some comments in the comments as well saying, I love Monsters Inc. I feel like people barely talk about it. I feel like Jason won this one. And I feel like Jason has won the animation debate. So, all right, Jason is on the board. The game is still going. Now we're moving on to the fourth one. Like I was messed up earlier saying that this is the one we had to change. But the question is, what is the worst film of 2025 so far? Sin is going to be arguing for a film called On Swift Horses, which I'll be transparent, I haven't seen it. So I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts as to why. Jason chose the live action remake of Snow White. So this should be a good time. Jason, 60 seconds whenever you're ready, my friend. Why is Snow White the worst film of 2025?
Yeah, I mean, this is such a weird kind of film because we all knew this train wreck was coming like 2 years ago, and we were like, this is gonna be bad. And it came, and it was like, yeah, it was bad. It was like everything we thought it was gonna be. And I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff outside the movie that made it bad, maybe, but just talking about the movie itself, I still think Rachel Zegler was such a bad cast in this role. And mostly, I don't know, Snow White is such a nice such likable character, and I don't feel like Rachel Zegler fit that in Snow White. It's just that's a hard role to cast, and Rachel Zegler just was not it for me. She came off very sarcastic at times, and just was not the likable that you need in that role. And opposite that, you have Gal Gadot, who's a supermodel playing the witch, who's saying, "Who's better looking than me?" And it's like nobody. And yet, like Snow White, she's the fairest of them all. And it's like, no, Gal Gadot. You got Gal Gadot, for goodness sakes. So to me, it was just a bad casting.
Time. That was great. That was hilarious. All right, Sin, 60 seconds. Why is On Swift Horses the worst film of the year?
For me, it's the worst film because the story sucked hard. Like it's not just a bad movie. It's 2 hours of moody, self-important misery disguised as a love story. The main character is a woman who cheats on her husband with another woman, secretly gambles money without, telling him. She lies about selling her mother's house. She lusts after her brother-in-law, who also lusts after her, and he's a closeted gay or bisexual, and he's also very manipulative and lies and steals and cheats, and it's just like we're supposed to somehow sympathize with these idiots. I hated this film so much.
You got 20 seconds if you want.
Made top spot. It overtook Love Hurts, which I thought nothing could do. Yeah.
Damn.
Despise this movie so much. Sucks hard.
All right, time. 30 seconds whenever you're ready, Jason.
So then let's get to the dwarves themselves. I mean, the animation was just mostly horrendous. Why did we not get little people there? You could show it's a live action. Why do animation in a live action? Get real little people and put them in those roles, for goodness sakes. I thought that was such a bad decision overall. And most of them were animated pretty badly. The biggest one is Dopey. Sorry, he did not look anything like he should have, I think. And then he talks, and it's just what a bad. And they should have been the star, and they were not the star.
Time.
Other people.
30 seconds. Sin, whenever you're ready.
Well, so yeah, if you enjoy morally bankrupt people mumbling through fake, deep, romantic, angsty nonsense and unnecessary sex scenes thrown throughout, have at this film. You might actually enjoy it. But yeah, no, I can't. The horse was the most compelling character in this entire freaking movie. Yeah.
Damn, of course.
Time. 15 seconds, Jason, whenever you're ready, my friend.
Yeah. The only thing I say is so it's a musical. They got a lot of new musical moments. The best song in the movie is "Someday My Prince Will Come," and that song is not in the movie. And there's no prince. There should be a prince. That's a big part of that story, and they totally took it out.
Final 15 seconds, Sin, whenever you're ready.
Oh, and the horse was only in there for like 5 minutes, so that should say a lot. Okay. Stupid film. I hate this dumbass movie.
Wow.
All right. Time. That was a good one, guys. You guys both made me laugh, and you both had some really good points. Now, I haven't seen Sin's movie, so I'm curious to see.
Don't watch it.
Rashad, we're starting with you this time. Who do you cast your vote for?
Okay, yeah, this was very tough because both of them really drove it home why those movies are bad. I haven't seen any of them, and I don't plan on seeing any of them after this round. So both of you guys did a great job at convincing me not to watch those movies. I'm gonna give the edge to Sin just because I could feel her, like she hates this movie with a passion, and you feel it through her delivery. And you just feel the venom out of her words, and so I was really convinced more that Sin actually really hated that film. So I'm gonna give the edge to Sin on that one.
All right. I'm gonna give it the slight edge over to Jason, and only because he made me laugh more. Even though I'm in the small minority that didn't hate the Snow White movie, like I thought it was perfectly okay. But I thought like your points, and listen, I was the first one, at least in my household, to say it as soon as I saw the trailer and they have Gal Gadot as the evil queen. I'm like, it's just fairest of them all. And then it's Rachel Zegler. And I'm not a Rachel Zegler hater. I think she's a perfectly pretty young actress, but it doesn't make any sense. And, the seven dwarves all being CGI as well. Like that was something that, why did we do that? Dopey talking at the end of the movie. Why did we do that? So you brought up all the things I would want to hear in a negative thing. And, you just made me laugh throughout it with the way you talked about it, the way you said that you thought it'd be bad, and then it was bad. I thought that was great. So, unfortunately, that leaves Jeremy with the fun of breaking the tie.
Man, put the tie on Rashad. Rashad put the tie on me. That's crazy. No, both were very good arguments. I feel like the movies attacked both of you personally. But I think Sin really sold. Like I haven't seen On Swift Horses. I was open to seeing it at some point. I guess I don't want to anymore because that sounded insanely terrible. So I'm giving the point to Sin on this.
All right. So Sin wins the points, but still anyone's game. That was a great round. We had some fun comments really quickly. Firstly, we got some love in the comments for where is it? Hold on. Man, why can't I scroll up? Oh, there we go. We got Sin, you are adorable in the comments there. So some love for Sin. When we started, I got Tennis Reaper saying, I got a feeling Jason is going to trash this movie, which he absolutely
He did a good job at trashing it too.
Yeah.
Sin basically mentioned the whole movie in 60 seconds. That's impressive. Rachel Zegler makes Kristen Stewart look like a queen.
Damn.
Rachel Zegler's wig was horrendous, looked like a 2000s bowl cut.
Damn,
Gal Gadot should not sing, especially multiple musical numbers.
Yeah.
I heard.
And that Mike said it was a tough debate. Yeah, that was a tough one for sure. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. The next question number 5. What is the most overrated film franchise? Now, this is one I'm looking forward to. Sin is arguing for the Avatar franchise, James Cameron's Avatar franchise. And Jason is arguing for Transformers. So this should be pretty good. Let me check.
Wait, somebody you said overrated franchise?
Overrated, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so Sin is arguing for Avatar, Jason for Transformers. Sin, you will be starting off this round, 60 seconds, whenever you're ready.
I feel like this movie franchise, the love for it is based more on just visuals only and not actual character depth or great writing. I feel like the cultural footprint for it's surprisingly shallow given its huge box office. It's not really endlessly quotable. It doesn't generally come up as list of films that are deemed to be like cultural milestones in filmmaking. It's got unlike forgettable characters. Some people call this film basically a remake of Fern Gully. I just call it Dances with Smurfs. I absolutely despise this franchise, and I wish James Cameron would stop working on that and get back to making other great films like True Lies, which was his last great film.
You got 15 seconds if you want it.
Yeah, no, I hate that. I don't know. I have nothing else right now.
Okay. 60 seconds for why Transformers is overrated. Whenever you're ready, Jason.
Yeah, this was a hard one because most of the good franchises I like, most of the franchises I don't like. This is definitely reviewed pretty bad overall. The only reason I went to Transformers is because they keep making more of these freaking movies, and they're horrible. They get worse every time. First movie, actually pretty good. It was fun, good action. The special effects are amazing. And every movie after that, it just got worse and worse. The story, it's just almost unwatchable now, I guess. And you might say, yeah, everybody hates it. I'm like, yeah, but they keep making it. People keep watching it. It keeps making money. I don't get it. It's a terrible franchise.
All right, you got 20 seconds if you want it.
Gosh. It's just the humor is just so cringe. It's so immature. It's just, like I said, just unwatchable at times.
All right. 30 seconds, Sin.
Well, I guess it's kind of in closing for me. Great visuals, great cinematography do not a great story make. And that's what I feel about Avatar. It's just a lot of fluff and nothing of real substance.
All right, you got 15 seconds if you want it.
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Jason, 30 seconds for Transformers.
Yeah, I guess my argument over Transformers is just that I don't know how many they made. Have they made 5, 6, 7 Transformer movies? They made 2 Avatar movies. I know there's more coming, but the fact that they made so many Transformer movies is just mind-boggling to me. Like how this franchise keeps going, but it only keeps going because people are going to theater. I want to say, stop seeing this movie. Let's stop this franchise. Let's put a stop to it. But people keep seeing them, so.
All right. Final 15 seconds. Sin, whenever you're ready.
I don't really have much more to say. Gosh, I almost feel like I wish I'd picked Jurassic Park for mine. Yeah, I know a lot of people love Avatar. No, I'm just not one of them. I'm not impressed at all.
All right, time. Jason, final 15 seconds whenever you're ready.
Like I said, the acting is so bad. I mean, when you get like what's his name, Mark Wahlberg, who's normally a good actor, it just did not work as like a genius mechanic, whatever, in some of those movies. Like what? Megan Fox, good looking.
Time. All right, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Megan Fox, good looking. Time.
Yeah. That's a perfect time to end it.
That was perfect.
Yeah, no, that was a great argument, and you know what? I could just feel the like frustration you guys have with both of these franchises. I'm gonna go ahead and just say I'm giving my point to Jason. I think Jason painted a better picture of why like the sequels get worse, that that they just like seem to be not liked by a lot of people but still make a lot of money, so people are still going to see them. And then on top of that, I was waiting for you to mention how Mark Wahlberg does not work as a genius mechanic, because the second I saw that movie, I just didn't believe him all muscle bound, just being like, I'm an artist. I'm a creator. Like I'm just like, it just doesn't work, bro. Like
I love the fucking Boston accent, man. That's pretty good.
It just does not work. And so my point goes to Jason. Jeremy, where are you putting your point?
I'm not gonna lie, Sin almost had me with Dances with Smurfs. I think that was a hilarious line. But Jason's plea to stop making movies, because I think that's such a good point, and it's an interesting take on overrated. It's like no one likes them, but everyone's still going to see them, and they make them every couple of years, which is insane. So I do give the slight edge to Jason.
All right, so Jason wins the point. It's 3-2. Still anybody's game. But what about you, Rashad? Let's hear your thoughts on that round.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of y'all, man. I think Jason really echoed my sentiments exactly. I feel the exact same way. So every time Jason was making a point, man, I had a church moment where I had to throw my hand up like, preach, preach, I mean, it's Sin, you drove some good points home too, but I just thought Jason really convinced me more why it's overrated. And you admitted that the movies did have really good visuals, but to you, the main thing was the story. And it's like, I just needed more than just you ain't like the story. You know what I mean? So that's why I would give it to Jason.
All right. So Jason wins that point. Congratulations, Jason.
Can I just say something about muscle-bound people? My brother is a bodybuilder, and he is an artist.
Okay.
So it is possible.
Fair enough. Listen, no shade to the muscle-bound artist. I just didn't buy Mark Wahlberg in that one. In that role,
yeah.
Yo, before the stream's over, Perez, you gotta do another Mark Wahlberg impersonation, man. That shit was gold, bro.
I'll try. I'll try to pull one out.
The whole outro.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if I could do the whole outro. The accent might break. All right, moving on to question number 6 now. This is going to be a good one. Who is the greatest movie villain of all time? Sin is arguing for the Terminator, and Jason is arguing for the Joker. Two very iconic villains and very different kinds of villains. Jason, you are up first this time with 60 seconds whenever you are ready, my friend.
Yeah, I went with Joker because, man, ever since I was a kid and I was watching Batman cartoons and reading the comic books, Joker is always the most fascinating villain I've ever seen in anything. He's such an interesting character. He's got the clown makeup, and there's something about clowns that's like they should be fun, they should be enjoyable, but yet they come off so creepy. And so that was such a great, making a villain character look like a clown. And it's just a great look. I mean, there's all kinds of looks, of course, but I think Mark Hamill definitely nails it in his portrayal. But he's funny at times. It's like he almost can be kind of funny, but then he can be very disturbingly violent and does some really horrible things that you go, geez, like I wanted to kind of like him, but then he's very disturbing at times and scary. And there's something about a scary clown that really does it for me. It makes that such an interesting character. And of course, we've seen it with Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix. And
all right, 60 seconds for the Terminator, Sin, whenever you're ready.
So what makes the Terminator one of the best is that he doesn't talk much, but he's terrifying. And he changed what villains could be. He's cold. He's relentless. He's unstoppable. You can't appeal to any sort of human emotion or any sort of human logic or anything like that because he's just a machine. And he kind of defined the sci-fi villain archetype. And it was iconic. His role is absolutely iconic. And Schwarzenegger, he made him iconic without any charisma or emotion. And that's not something that's easy to do. And yeah, that's why I picked the Terminator.
You got 15 seconds if you want it.
Well, I mean, it can't be bargained with or reasoned with, and it won't stop ever until that's terrifying. Come on. Can't even talk with him? Try to convince him to your side?
All right, time. Jason, 30 seconds for the Joker whenever you're ready.
Yeah, what I say about the Joker, again, he just has so much personality compared to maybe someone like the Terminator or other villains, characters. I just love the personality, the character itself. And like I said, how he can be almost kind of funny at times, but then also just super disturbingly serious. And that's just a unique characteristic. And has there ever been a villain that's won Oscars twice for two different actors? Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger won Oscars for that's crazy. No one wins Oscars twice for the same character. That's how good that character is.
Time. All right. Perfect timing. All right, Sin, 30 seconds whenever you're ready.
Is this like rebuttal time?
Yeah.
Because I just have like one main rebuttal.
Yeah,
Joker's a human. Joker's human, and he can easily be killed. The Terminator is not and cannot easily be killed. If you want to convince him to your side, you have to open up his head and flip a darn switch, reprogram him. How easily are you going to be able to do that?
Yeah, 15 seconds if you want.
Just unstoppable and scary. Yeah, imagine someone coming after you like that in the middle of the bar, tech noir, just hunting you down like a shark. Nope.
All right, time. 15 seconds. Jason, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I just go off again. We had Joker so many times. I mean, goodness sakes. You have the cartoon series, you have the video game, you have Jack Nicholson, you have Joaquin Phoenix, you have I'm blanking, Heath Ledger, and they all give great performances of this character. And it's the reason why he's done so many times.
All right, final 15 seconds, Sin, whenever you're ready.
Well, when you think of the Terminator, there's only one person that comes to mind because he's so legendary. Only he can do it. Yep.
All right. All right. Great arguments, guys. That was a lot of fun. All right. That's going to be a tough one for me. I think if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Jeremy, you get the ill-fated role of having to vote first.
I was hoping you'd forget.
You thought there would be no nerves, didn't you?
No. I mean, great arguments on this one, though. Very fast. I wish there was another round. Even the arguments are so good, but I think I'm gonna go for Sin on this one because just describing the Terminator as this unrelenting machine gave me much more of a chill and made me want to go back and just rewatch that first Terminator movie. Whereas with Jason, you started listing all the actors, and great point with the Oscars, but you did start using like outside sources, and I think that does kind of take it down when we're talking about best movie villain. Whereas Sin hit it on the head right at the end. So iconic, only played by one person, and it only took one movie to be so iconic. So that's why I'm going with Sin.
All right, Rashad, who you throwing your point to?
Damn.
And I know you love the Joker and Terminator.
Yeah, I love the Terminator. Yeah, this is tough, man. This is tough. Yeah, Sin definitely won that first round because she was like, because Jason was more like Jeremy was saying, going into the other source material, whereas we're talking about, in a film, and Sin really, further convinced me why the Terminator is just like, because he scared me as a kid, you know what I'm saying? That motherfucker was ruthless. So yeah, she won that first round. I think Jason won that second round, the tiebreaker. Yeah, damn. I'm gonna have to say Sin on this one, just because when she said that it only took one movie, and you always remember Arnold is the Terminator, even though we've had the T-1000 stuff, but Arnold is the Terminator. So yeah, I got to give the slight short and curly to Sin on that one.
All right.
I shouldn't do the hand gesture, but the short and curly.
Sin wins the point, but I was gonna vote towards Jason, and there's definitely some comments in here. I got Jason's argument for two actors winning the Oscars for the same villain role is the nail in the coffin. Jason may have tied this one, and Mike popping in with the Robert Patrick was also a Terminator, including all the other renditions in the bad movies. So either way, that was a fantastic argument you guys made there. Yeah, that was a really tough one. So we move on now to question number 7, which is, what is the best 2D animated Disney film? Both chose fantastic film. Sin is going to be arguing for Beauty and the Beast, and Jason is going to be arguing for The Lion King. Both movies from the 90s. Top tier animation.
So good. Yeah, so good.
Mike also popped in quickly to say that great argument, best one yet. So yeah, you guys are definitely putting on a show with these arguments right now. All right, so Sin, you are up first. 60 seconds for why is Beauty and the Beast the best 2D Disney animated film?
Well, for starters, it's the first animated film to get a Best Picture nomination, which was super impressive to me, and I feel like it was very well deserved. The animation is gorgeous. The sweeping score is just beautiful. Like, you just don't like songs still hanging around from that movie. The voice acting is fantastic. The story is really good. Belle is one of the most fleshed out Disney heroines to me. She's strong-willed, she's independent, she's sympathetic, she's caring, she's all these great things without coming across as a Mary Sue or somebody that's super annoying. And so yeah, I love the story so much.
Yeah, 15 seconds if you want it.
It's romantic, it's funny, it's dark, it's timeless. Yeah.
All right. Time. 60 seconds for why The Lion King is the best 2D animated Disney film. Whenever you're ready, Jason.
For me, Lion King just has one of the best stories I've ever seen in film. And I mean, you got one of the best openings ever with the Circle of Life moment. I mean, groundbreaking for animation at the time. Never seen anything like that in animation when I saw that movie. And the whole story between, again, gosh, so many spoilers, but Simba, Mufasa, Scar, what happens to Mufasa, and the fact that Scar makes his nephew feel the blame that it was his fault. I mean, that's such disturbing. I mean, psychologically, just a terrible thing. And that he runs off, and then they have to bring him back to take back the Pride Land. It's just, and the whole part with him, Mufasa, remember who you are. I mean, such great story moments overall. It's also just a hilarious movie, and the music is amazing. Elton John's music and Hans Zimmer score, one of my favorite Hans Zimmer scores as well. It's a movie that's funny and dramatic.
Time. All right. 30 seconds, Sin. Beauty and the Beast.
Something else I really love about Beauty and the Beast are the character arcs for both Belle and for the Beast. I mean, Belle doesn't have a huge one, but she does learn to be able to love the person inside as opposed to what this person looks like on the outside. And the Beast learns some humility and learns how to treat people with respect. And so I really appreciate that. And while I absolutely love The Lion King, it's mostly about animals. And I kind of feel more of a connection when we've got a human story going on.
Time.
But yeah.
30 seconds, Jason, for The Lion King.
Man, they're animals. I couldn't feel more connected to the characters, though, of Simba. And his relationship with his father is great. I just want to say, like, Timon and Pumbaa, some of the greatest characters in animation. Absolutely hilarious moments. Like I said, I mean, Circle of Life, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, which won the Oscar, Be Prepared, Hakuna Matata. I mean, some great iconic songs, some of my favorite of all time. And I said the Hans Zimmer score is so good when he walks up.
All right, 15 seconds. All right, yeah. Is it 15 seconds? Yeah, 15 seconds.
I think the last one is 15.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have much more to say about it. I just feel like it's a very well-rounded movie I think it's got everything that you would want in a Disney animated film.
All right. Final 15 seconds, Jason, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, what I like about this more than like Beauty and the Beast is that love story didn't work for me with the Beast, and he was really mean, and I just didn't like the Beast character. He's just overly mean to the Bell and other.
All right. Good round once again, guys. Rashad, goes to you first this time.
All right. Well, you know what? This was the round where I thought the gloves were going to come off and you guys were going to come out freaking swinging with razor blades and lemon juice, man. But I didn't quite get that. But at the end, Jason, you did, throw a little shade on Beauty and the Beast, man. So that's why I'm going to give you the edge on that one because, both of you, because I like both movies. So I'm agreeing with both of you on both of your points. So just on the debate itself, it's kind of a tie. But the fact that, Jason, that you threw a little salt on there, I'm like, God damn it, fucking StreamYard.
I know.
Am I back?
Yeah,
I heard salt. That was one of the last things I heard.
Yeah, you cut out for a second there, but you seem all right now.
Fucking StreamYard, man. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because StreamYard's a bunch of jerks. Yeah, Jason, you get the edge, bro, because you actually made it a little, do a little spice in there at the end. So yeah, Jason, you get that round, bro.
Yeah, that was a tough one for me because I think Sin broke down a lot in that first bit, in that first specifically 45 seconds or so of just a lot of great details on what makes the film super special. But I do like how Jason kind of zinged the Beast at the end and how he's kind of unlikable for majority of the film. Though, I'd argue that that's the point, but I do think that was an interesting kind of rebuttal to the notion that the animals aren't as relatable because they're animals. I like that Jason kind of zinged on that. And Jason listed off, of course, Hans Zimmer, and he listed off Elton John and the animation, as well as all the characters and all these different iconic songs. So I'm also going to give the slight edge to Jason this round, meaning that Jason wins the point. So Jeremy, still, I want to hear your take on this round, though.
Yeah, I was on the Jason train for this one too. Both great arguments, but I think Jason had the great rebuttal, which you mentioned, Anthony, of the whole, well, even though they are animals, I still connected with them and couldn't connect with them more. So that's what really won the argument over for me.
All right. So it is now officially 4-3. I forgot to say this in the last round, but if Sin wins the next point, Sin wins the game. But if Jason wins the next point, we will be going to the tiebreaker. So it's still anyone's game. No giving up just yet, guys, but we're almost there. Moving on to question number 8. What could possibly be the end of the game? Who is the best action star of the 80s? I specifically threw this one in here for Rashad because Rashad loves him some 80s action, and this is going to be a good one. Sin is arguing for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and
naturally,
and Jason is arguing for Jackie Chan, 2 iconic action stars with big movies in the 80s. So, Jason, you are up first this time, my friend. 60 seconds for Jackie Chan whenever you're ready.
All right. Jackie Chan, to me, is my favorite martial artist, action movie star. And he did some of his best work in the 80s. He was getting well known in the late 70s, but 80s, man, he really put out some good work. It's funny. He went to America and made 2 American movies. They didn't do so well. Came to China, 2 of some of the best action movies of the 80s, in my opinion, was Police Story and Project A, 2 absolutely amazing action movies. And this guy, oh my gosh, like I said, he also kind of invented the action comedy. I mean, any action comedy you see today, I feel like Jackie Chan was doing that back in the 80s. He made that thing where most action people were just very serious, and he actually put some comedy in there, made it a little more entertaining. And he put some of the best martial arts fight scenes ever put together, like Police Story, the mall scene, one of the most incredible scenes ever made, I think, and a lot of great stunt work in that as well. And again, I'll go more on the stunts probably in another.
Yeah, perfect point to kind of gotcha. 60 seconds for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sin whenever you're ready.
I mean, it's Arnold. The man is the 80s. The Terminator, Predator, Commando, Total Recall, Conan, of course, in the 90s, True Lies. He's got this really quirky, offbeat, earnest charisma about him. He's got the physicality. He's got the stupid one-liners that are hilarious. He's self-aware in his ridiculousness. To me, that just makes instant icon. And he can be terrifying as, the Terminator. I feel like he defined the action hero archetype for decades. So yeah, when you think 80s action star, one of the first that come to mind, well, for me anyway, it's always like Arnold or Sylvester, but not really Jackie Chan. Maybe if I think about it a little bit, Jackie Chan. But yeah, Arnold. Yeah, I just love it. I think he's just perfect.
All right. 30 seconds. Jason, whenever you're ready, my friend.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger, I think his best stuff was in the 90s with Terminator 2 and True Lies. But Jackie Chan's best stuff was the 80s. Like I said, Police Story and Project A. I mean, you go with Dragons Forever, Wheels on Meals, a lot of other movies that came out at that time. And like I said, Bruce Lee definitely was, set the bar. And Jackie Chan elevated that bar for martial arts action movies and stunt work. I mean, he did his own stunts. Did Arnold Schwarzenegger do his own stunts? I don't think so. And he might be correcting me there, but Jackie Chan did some crazy stunts. If you watch Police Story, Project A, he should have died. Armor of God, he almost died, hit his head on a rock. It's incredible what he did and was able to do.
All right, time. It's in 30 seconds whenever you're ready.
I think what distinguishes Arnold from someone like Jackie Chan, who is fantastic, is the fact that not everybody's into martial arts stuff, but a lot of people are just into regular old action, which is what Arnold brings to the table. And he made absurd scripts work just by being Arnold. And he made terrible one-liners kind of part of his whole thing. Like his whole persona just works, especially in 80s movies, ridiculous 80s movies, but they're wonderful because it's Arnold and it's ridiculous.
All right, time. 15 seconds, Jason, to wrap it up.
Just to add on Jackie Chan, he also directed a lot of his own movies like Police Story and Project A, like that. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't think directed a movie. And he can go through a lot of people. Maybe Stallone directed some movies, but I mean, what he was doing just groundbreaking. Stallone even took a scene from
time. All right, final 15 seconds whenever you're ready, Sin.
Just a clarification, Arnold did direct one movie, I think.
Okay.
Christmas in Connecticut or something crazy like that. So that's my rebuttal to that comment.
Gotcha. All right, guys. So that's
I got a round of applause for that one. That was a fucking round. That was a round.
That was
yes,
a round.
Sir. That's what I'm talking about.
Man, that's a tough one, man. I'm kind of sad I go first here because
now the pressure's on you now, Anthony.
The pressure's on me now.
Pressure.
So here's what I'll say. I think Sin for me had it earlier, listing off like all these movies that Arnold did and just kind of how mainstay kind of like big movies they were for the time, but then Jason was starting to win me over with the argument that like Jackie Chan does his own stunts for like everything, and like that's that is a huge part of the action star kind of like lineup. But then there's times where it felt like Jason was maybe like repeating like the same couple of movies. But I think he still made good points on those movies and how Bruce Lee kind of like went to I'm curious Rashad's thoughts on that, because I know Rashad loves him for some Bruce Lee too. But the fact that, the notion that Bruce Lee took it to one level and Jackie Chan took it to the next, I think was a really solid argument from Jason. And I just, it's tough. I'm going to give the slight edge. Going back to what Jeremy said, this is like a 51-49. I'm going to give the slight edge to Sin. But Jeremy, who are you giving your point to?
So real quick, the question is best 80s action star, right?
Yeah.
That was okay. I really like both arguments. Jason, I think felt more like who is almost either underrated or who's the most versatile kind of 80s action star. Where I think Sin really hit it on the head with it's Arnold, the best 80s action star. And like what really took it home for me was the whole, when you think of this question, the first two names that popped into my head even was Arnold and Sylvester Stallone. So with that, I got to go Sin.
All right. So Sin wins the game. Congratulations, Sin. But Jason, Sin, that was a great round, great game. Really enjoyed hearing all the arguments. Rashad, as usual, though, I still want to hear your thoughts and who you were going to give your point to.
Yeah, man, both of them came out swinging, man. I'm like, damn, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, I gotta give it a Sin as well, just because she hit the nail on the head, man. Arnold is the guy. You know, we're not talking about stunts or martial arts, like we're talking about action hero. And the first thing you think about when you think of action, if you ask anybody that's a fan of the 80s, they will say Arnold is so sly. And Jackie Chan will get thrown in there if you're like an action pundit or whatever, you know what I mean? So, but Jason, man, yo, you went down with a fight, bro. You went down with a fight. You know what I mean? You ain't go out easily. Went on like Scarface. Say hello to my little friend. I appreciate that. But yeah, I gotta get that last round of Sin though.
Yeah. Both Jason and Sin did their own stunts today. They were both pretty great.
Can we ask? Like, I'm curious to know what Jason's tiebreaker would have been.
Oh yeah. So the tiebreaker question was gonna be what franchise, film or TV, deserves a revival? Jason's answer was Wheel of Time. And Sin's answer was the Sarah Connor Chronicles, the Terminator spinoff.
I'm a one-track mind here, y'all. Like Arnold or the Terminators.
Here we got what the.
Yeah, it was going to be all Terminator today.
Yeah, I know. It's just like this is just instinctive. These were instinctive answers.
I mean, James Cameron connection too with Avatar being another answer of yours.
That's true.
Damn.
Can you tell I'm still very, very salty about the fact that he has not returned to do any more Terminators or Arnold movies in decades?
Yeah.
That would be great. Honestly, I would love to see him do that. But the likelihood at this point is so slim. It's insane.
Oh, of course. If he would come and do like a King Conan, perfect.
Yeah,
Leave Avatar.
Oh, he ain't doing that.
Yeah,
I know he's not.
Don't hold your breath on that one.
Yeah,
I know.
He ain't leaving anytime soon on that front. Yeah. But to everybody watching live or after the fact, thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time. To my fellow my fellow judges, I can't even speak anymore.
Take your time.
Rashad and Jeremy of Yeti Films. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on. Previous winners, happy to have you on as judges. And Sin, welcome to the winner's corner. But Jason, you will have a chance in the future, I'm sure, to take that winning spot. And I'd love to have you on as a judge one day. Both you and Sin would love to invite you guys back on in the future to be judges, where it's a little bit more laid back than the pressure you had today, for sure. There's still a little bit of pressure when you have to break ties, though. But thank you so much to everybody who joined today. The links to all 4 channels are down below. Go give these guys some love. And as I usually like to do, I'm going to go ahead and just give them all a moment to kind of plug anything they got going on their channel. So Rashad, can start with you. Anything you want to plug that's coming out or just recently came out, man?
So I dropped a non-spoiler review for Superman that just dropped this weekend, and a short as well about Superman, because people were coming at me in the comments about my criticism for it. And Anthony, you know me, I know nothing of the back down, man. I had to come back swinging. So did a short about that. But other than that, I really have nothing else coming up that I can think of. Well, I'll be on Mike's channel tomorrow talking Superman spoilers.
All right, nice.
So that should be a good one for Z Talks. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy, what about you, man? Anything you want to plug over on your channel?
I also got a Superman review up. It's Superman weekend, and that box office is going to go crazy. So please check out that review. I know this coming week, Anthony and I will have Smurfs reviews coming out. We saw that earlier today, so that'll be fun. Can't say anything yet. The embargo's still there, But
just that laugh said it all, bro. That laugh said it all. That wasn't that was a great movie laugh. No, that was wait the shit on this.
But yeah, no, it was a pleasure meeting all you guys, and Anthony, always a pleasure to be on the channel.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for joining. And yeah, Smurfs is coming soon for both me and Jeremy. We're also seeing Sorry Baby on Monday and Eddington on Tuesday. So expect reviews for those in the coming week too. Sin, what about you? Anything that you want to plug? I know tomorrow Sin and I will be on the Latin Slant over in that YouTube channel.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the Los Cinematicos.
Yeah.
So Sin, I didn't even know that you were Hispanic.
Okay, I'm not. Oh, I'm married to a Mexican.
Oh, that works.
So maybe that gets me. I'm Hispanic adjacent.
Well, when you said Los Cinematicos right there, it sounded great. I was like, oh, damn it. I had no idea,
I've been trying to learn how to speak Spanish good for like 30 some years. So maybe one day.
You sold me. But yeah, anyway, anything you want to plug over on your channel, Sin?
I did put a review up for Superman yesterday. I went to go see it because of Los Cinematicos. I did not want to see it, but I went to see it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's discussion with Anthony on the Latino Slant at 5 p.m. Eastern. Also, D Movie Man will be there, and I'm just curious to hear what you guys think about it. So that's the immediate stuff coming up for me.
All right, sounds good. Jason, what about you, my friend? Anything you want to plug over on Jason the Old Millennial?
Well, I too have a Superman review that I did, and I saw Sin's comment, so I appreciate that.
You're short, yeah.
Or yeah, that's right, yeah. And I've seen pretty much everybody's Superman as well review. Everybody's reviewing that movie. It's been a big thing. And I'm also on Mike's channel tomorrow talking about Superman as well. So
okay, no doubt.
What time is that? What time is Mike's?
1 p.m. my
That's
time.
a good damn question.
1 your time?
Yeah, 1 p.m. my time. So it's 7 p.m. in England or whatever.
So 2 p.m. Eastern then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I might try to check that out before because I don't think you guys will go like 3 hours or anything. So I'll try to remember to, because I have to be done in time for listening. I'm hosting, y'all. I'm a little scared because Latino Slant pulls in a lot more live stream numbers than I do when I live stream. So I'm a little bit scared. Oh, I forgot to say at 5:30 Eastern, I'm going to do just like a little quick casual live stream chat for my channel's anniversary. But yeah, I almost wish that you were hosting Los Cinematicos tomorrow, Anthony, because you're such a great host.
Oh, thank you. Well, maybe one day we can alternate on it, but I'm more than happy to show up tomorrow and just kick it back and just and not have to host. But yeah, guys, sounds like there's a lot of great Superman content, a lot of different opinions, I'm sure. So definitely go give everybody's channel some love. Again, they're down below. Looking forward to that chat tomorrow. Head on over to Did You See That tomorrow, so you guys can see Jason and Rashad talk Superman with him. And all in all, 4 great channels. Go give them some love. Links are down below. To everybody watching, thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Adios.